Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. What is Drake doing? I mean, it seems like he wants us to know, or to have some kind of like rough idea of goings on in his life and his career, I guess. What I'm talking about is this website that you can log on to right now titled 100gigs.org. And initially what kind of hooked me into going on this website is that I know it's connected to Drake, and apparently there was like some new Drake music on there, or at least unheard Drake music on there, that might have been worth checking out. And there are actually a few tracks on there from Drake. It's Up, Blue, Green, Red, and Housekeeping Knows. The first of which is an all-out, aggressive, explosive rap banger that sounds like it's a leftover from his Her Loss record with 21 Savage, but even if it is a leftover, it's total fire in terms of the chemistry between the two, the instrumental. Drake is even flowing his ass off on the track a bit too. Releasing this song, truly and honestly, is the biggest W that Drake has taken or come close to taking since his whole run-in with Kendrick Lamar. So at least that is a bit of a bright spot in the midst of this whole thing. There's also another track, Blue, Green, Red, that I mentioned earlier, which to my ears, given its cross-cultural funky dance grooves, might be an honestly nevermind leftover. Could totally be wrong about that, but regardless of its origin, I feel like if you mess with that record, that song is going to have a lot to offer you. And then finally, there's Housekeeping Knows, which actually has a Lotto feature on it, which could have actually been pretty big for her if the track ended up seeing like the light of day on a proper record. Maybe on For All the Dogs, but I guess unfortunately it didn't, and it's not really that bad of a track either. I mean, honestly, despite all of these songs being seemingly leftovers from various parts of Drake's recent career, there's nothing all that bad about them. As far as like cutting room floor stuff goes, it's pretty impressive and high grade, I would say. But these songs only make up a fraction of what is essentially 100gigs.org, because the bulk of what is on this website is what looks like hours, or rather gigs of just like random videos and behind the scenes footage from various points and performances and album recording sessions, music video shoots across Drake's career. I mean, it doesn't go too far back. A fair bit of it is pretty recent, but again, it's a lot of videos. And one kind of has to wonder, like, why is Drake putting all of this out? What is even the point of just putting out all of these like free to view, weird, difficult to scroll and sift through behind the scenes videos? Is he trying to prove to us that he actually has been making all of the music that he's been making, and that it involves going places and interacting with people and being in studios and being on video sets and stuff like that? I don't know. It's just really kind of a very boring approach to allowing the audience to essentially see how the sausage is made. Lo and behold, the process of making the music that Drake eventually puts out there seems to be even more boring than the music itself. I mean, perusing these videos, and I have not seen all of them, there's not really a whole lot of chills or thrills to be offered, from AO25COO2_1800620_R 460. Yeah, we just have Drake there, just standing in front of the mic in a red light, just kind of trying to get a performance in, trying to get some vocals laid down. But hey, listen, if you thought that footage was boring, try out AO13_CO13_07059L.mp4, which seemingly is just like a bunch of idle footage of just 40 staring at a desktop, like this bit of a piano loop thing. I mean, all this footage pretty much proves is like what we already kind of have known, that literally watching artists make studio quality music in real time is kind of like watching grass grow. And that's not to take away from the process and, say that the concentration and the silence and the focus that making good studio quality music requires is like a bad thing, or should be like a wild fun riot or anything like that. But like, this is the part of the process that for the the audience generally is the least interesting. And again, considering Drake is all about optics and putting out a message, putting out a vibe, putting out a perception, just really not doing anything unless it's going to add to the lore of his brand, of his character, of his career. Again, one has to wonder, what is even the point of all of this? Is it to show us that the process of making his music actually does require a lot of time and labor, maybe more than it seems like it does when you actually hear the finished product? Or is it to show us, hey, look, you see like all these hours of videos of me and my team just kind of like boringly working on music, right? Nothing crazy is ever going on ever. Look at how dull and boring and just whatever everything is. If all these things that I was constantly being accused of were true, wouldn't some of it show up in all of this footage I chose to post up on the internet myself? Would I have this much footage of myself to just throw up online if there were so many bad things happening around me all the time, things that I personally, Drake, was engaging in? I mean, I will say there is no footage from what I can see of that Bahamas trip that was famously ruined on For All the Dogs. We need embarrassing B-roll of the Bahamas trip stat. Though a vast majority of all the video footage like thrown into this 100 gig thing is pretty boring, there's at least one sort of interesting
clip.
What looks like a piece of pretty old footage of Drake working on the hook to Kanye's Yikes.
She could get medicine, frightening, find help sometimes.
There's also, in the midst of all of these images and folders, what looks like an alternate concept art piece for Certified Lover Boy that involves a really weird, really crude looking, is this like a colored pencil drawing? All these nude women, one of them's on a piano and Drake just in the corner looking like, hey. There's also seemingly PDF documents uploaded to this thing, which, like, what we're even supposed to do with those, I have no idea. I have no clue. Again, what is the point of all of this? Once again, it's kind of like Drake is just like doing all this random stuff on the internet that doesn't quite make sense because it's just all an attempt to kind of distract from the thing that he doesn't want people to be focusing on. Because really, what does any of this say? What does any of this add? What does any of this contribute to him and what he does? I guess if you're a hardcore fan, you might get some bit of joy out of watching all of these long, silent, boring videos where absolutely positively nothing of interest is happening. But you know what? I actually have trouble seeing guys like DJ Academics or even Los Pollos getting much of anything out of perusing this archive of nothing. What do you guys think about any of this? Let me know down in the comments. You're the best. I'll see all of you in the next one. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Drake, forever.